All right, the S&P 500, the Nasdaq 100s we're talking about today, but I'm going to go a little bit more into equities and stocks that I'm liking throughout this week and hopefully the month of December. We've had a really interesting close to the Thanksgiving weekend, and again, we don't really make Sunday videos that often, but I think it's important that we look at the stock market as a whole. We have a more broad viewpoint of equities that we're liking, not so much just futures. But what I am going to start off and looking at futures here because it's kind of fantastic. If you don't know, the monthly closes like in 2 or 3 days here on the 30th. Actually, sorry, Thursday. So Thursday is gonna be the last day of the month. Right, I had to check on my calendar. And this is the monthly chart on Nasdaq. Okay, it's beautiful. It's crisp. It's sleek. It's nice. It's like Margot Robbie back in 2012. The talk of the town, dare I say. And you look here and you really get that action forming on here. You have the nice cup and handle forming, and if you get the close out of this, one is to believe you at least get the continuation back into all-time highs on Nasdaq. You go into ES, very similar looking chart here as well. Let me clear off the drawings right here for you. Very similar, right? It looks very clean. Go to Qs, arguably better, right? I mean, I have to clear all these draws. I have to draw all of the back, but it doesn't matter. It's just I want to get the point across there. And the Qs here look maybe the most interesting, right? Because not only do you have that flag, but it's right into the 200 SMA on the daily, bouncing off it, breaking out, pushing back into highs almost already, around $17 from highs, right? Again, now this is not a video to get you, perma bullish or looking for, 2,000 points of upside or to get rich by, the end of the year. Not the point of the video. The point of the video is just to give you highlights and to look at the best overall sectors and hopefully have an unbiased viewpoint here. Now, again, before we go into anything else, before we go into the DXY, go into the specific stocks, I have you do 2 things. Consider liking and subscribing. It helps out tremendously. I appreciate all of the support on this channel. Monday through Friday, we make videos, and occasionally on the weekends as well. Just to let you know, there are some Discord spots available. People have been asking. Just to let you know, go to our link down below. It's going to be 50% off. Make sure you read the fine print. Use the code right here. We never have lifetime. I think there's 1 spot left. This should close tomorrow. 5 spots on basic access annual. This is sold out. I think we're going to open like a few more spots here. I'm not positive, but we'll see maybe when the time the video comes out. Anyways, check it out. Also too, sponsor of the channel, Chart Prime, is having a sale on their indicators. As you can see here, these aren't drawings. These are built-in scripts to my trading view. We partner with these guys because we love what they're doing over there. Our custom buy and sell indicator showing down here. You have the new, can't even think, my head's fried, the new screener that just came out as well for these guys. So again, these are all out there. These are all custom. You can mess with them, do what you need to do with them. But yeah, so they're all there. Make sure you check them out. But yeah, so we're going to dive really just into stocks I'm liking today. I don't want to do too much on indexes. I've gone over my targets, my levels, everything there. Very important. The only thing I will say is IWM is something that you need to be watching. Okay, so IWM here on the 4-hour is pretty beautiful. Okay, and just showing you had the inverse, head and shoulders, the neckline there. You bounced off of it. You're pushing back up. You have a nice pennant breaking out at the end of the week, pushing back to the 200. Shorts, long story short, you want to see a mount to the 200 SMA. You mount that, you're really bullish, you look good. The end, risk on, right? DXY, you want to see continued downside. It's looking ideal. VIX, 52 week lows established once again. Beautiful. Absolutely love it. Back down to 2019 levels. This is actually lower than where you were in 2020 as well. So really good news there also. Going into yields, we want to see this continue to drop. As you can see on the monthly, dropping, everything kind of dropping. So this is all good news that's happening there. Oil as well. So that's good news. Now, going into stocks. Now, number one, I was kind of go over them. I don't know what the order I'm going to go in here today. If you guys have questions, comment down below. I would love to answer questions. But I'm just going to go on a little bit of a rant of stocks I'm liking, setups that look the most optimal, and how I'm going to be attacking them. But what I will say, if you kind of want to see more, information on some of these, then feel free to go over to our Twitter and check it out. So many charts are here, just to let you know. Literally so many charts. I post as many as possible so you guys can see any news that comes out. But yeah, so number one, we're going to go over to Walmart. I like these guys. And if I had to say there's a stock on my list that has I don't want to say no risk, but minimal risk, it'd be Walmart for myself. So let's just go over some of the backtracking here. So this is the daily chart, so higher time frames. This is a massive level where you were kind of stuck at. You couldn't really get above or hold above 154, 153, give or take. And so we come back in here, right? We see we're making higher lows since essentially, beginning of 2023. I mean, honestly, going all the way back to June of 2022, but we can stop there. But when we look here, you were pushing at all-time highs. You had earnings. You dropped down. Now, did they miss on earnings? No, they did not. If you looked at those earnings, if you got a better viewpoint of what happened there, basically what they said is the consumer, they expect them to slow down. They do. They see some challenges, but all in all, they are going to continue to beat. That's been the story. Now, a lot of people continue to say the Waltons are selling. Well, the Waltons have been selling since 2020. They've bought NFL teams. They've done all types of stuff. It's their money. They have millions and millions of shares. So it's not surprising that they do sell. But anyways, I would try to educate yourself on that type of subject before you try to trade based on it, because a lot of people try to short Walmart, and that didn't work out very well, actually. So Walmart, you're at the 200 SMA. You've held this essentially since October 2022, so a year now. And that's just my strategy here. I'm buying here at the 200, upside into 160. Then you have the 163, and then you have the overall gap fill 167. I believe, again, you go and look at some of the competitors here. Costco, Costco is a great example. From Walmart's earnings, you dumped, came right to the key level, bounced right off of it. Looking great. Right, almost back at these local highs here, right? Exactly what we want to see. Target. This is probably the weakest name in the sector. Go woke, go broke is not a joke, right? So you go back over basically the past year and a half, and you've been getting just destroyed here, especially after the woke stuff came out there. Very bad. But you came down into 2018, 2019 levels, and you're bouncing at those levels, right? We knew Target was going to stay profitable. We knew they were going to bounce back. It just, you had to let the bad news subside. But the point being is even the worst looking name in this sector is performing, right? So I don't believe that Walmart, arguably the safest in this economic moat, is going to do bad. Personally for me, right? It's a risk I'm taking. I have leaps. That's what I'm looking at there. If you're looking at contracts, to be looking at Walmart. Again, this is Options AI. This is the only broker that we use here on the channel. So again, it gives you a better viewpoint of looking at options and understanding data from there. And their platform also on the phone actually is really, really nice as well. So I mean, furthest you can go on here is June for 2024. I still love them. I still do. I'd be looking almost at the money, just to let you know. 155, 160s personally, I still love it. IV is non-existent. You're paying almost $7 for these 160s, which gets you deep in the money if you get back, just back to those levels up here. Which again, I like to be a little bit more conservative. So again, I went for 2025 for myself. And again, I'll probably start trimming once we hit around 163, 164. And then, let a few run into highs possibly. Okay, a little bit further. Now, we just had Nvidia earnings, and you've heard me talk about Nvidia a lot here. And a lot of you guys, I'm kind of just going through and deleting all my drawings and starting fresh with these charts. New year, same Tyler, but new me, kind of. A few things here with Nvidia. No matter what, you're going to be kind of biased when you're looking at semis. You're either going to be like, this thing, you're looking at just the numbers and you're like, this thing is just beating, and it's probably going to keep going up because they keep revising expectations up. Or you're on the side of, this is a massive bubble. It's priced in, which I don't know how earnings can be priced in if earnings haven't came out yet. Crazy, but maybe. And so that's just kind of the reality of this. Now, I try to attack the market from a non-biased standpoint, meaning I like to react to what's given to me. So if they print out great earnings and they continue to raise expectations from 7 million last December to 20 million this December, I like the company. Basic financial knowledge teaches you that if a company is growing during a recession, maybe it's decent. So when I look at Nvidia, I like it, especially with all the bad news around China too. Like, I actually love it, right? Because they're factoring in what's happening with China as well. So what am I looking at here on Nvidia? Really quick. Right here, you can see it's a little bit of a level, and you have your chart prime level coming in here as well. So you have like two levels that you're looking at basically, right? And so I want to see us bounce and get back above basically 187, 487, 490. That's what I want to see. We had similar reaction last earnings where you dip down, you bounce back up, okay? But I'm just saying, I love what's happening here. I believe Nvidia is very, very bullish still. And if you want a good example, let's take a look at AVGO. AVGO, Broadcom, another semiconductor company, one of the biggest holdings in the Nasdaq top 5, right? And so let me go back. Okay, so AVGO from Nvidia's last earnings into their earnings right here in June, you just traded in a range, right? From essentially 800 to 920, back and forth in a range, right? And then you broke out eventually and you shot up another like $80 towards 1,000, right? If you were here on the channel, we talked about that move when you bounced at 873. Awesome. Yay, we made money. Cool, right? Move on to the next play. And so, you know, a lot of people thought AVGO was done, right? It was done moving up, or people just ignored it and they only focused on Nvidia. The same thing here on Nvidia for me. I mean, you're basically ranging from 400 up into 483 with a few, you know, tests above this range, which is why I have the target of that range right there. So you just want to see if you can hold this range and continue to get buyers stepping in. Because what's one thing that we know, right? And I'm going somewhere. Nvidia is not my buy here. But one thing we know is if the Nasdaq continues going up, most likely tech names are going to continue going up with it. Highly possible, highly probable, okay? So with the Nasdaq, what am I looking at? We're looking at Nvidia, right? I like AMD. It's a big name we've been watching. You know, you had the fake, the trap, you know, partially trapped me a little bit here. I didn't go short, but I still lost a lot of hope here in AMD. You broke down, you got back above the 200, you shot up, okay? Now, this is a level in AMD is 122. So right now, you're waiting to see if AMD can mount above this 122 range. And if it can, I think you're pushing up into 130, 132, highly likely, okay? I like it, kind of love it. And you know, I want a little bit more of it, right? So AMD, big fan. You want to see if you hold 122.5 on like a 2-hour, 4-hour chart intraday, and hopefully on the daily as well. So those are things you're looking at there. Another big sign would be if IWM can hold above the 200 SMA. It's not in the IWM, okay, understand that, but IWM is a great sign for risk on, okay? Things to think about. Meta, I've talked a lot about it. You know, you got the perfect move. I think you're late here now. You can't really get back into it, so that ship has sailed. This week also too, you know, we have cloud earnings, CrowdStrike, CRM. Okay. I have to be really careful with how I talk about things that have earnings because I know, and again, this is not financial advice. I give you all the warnings I want. It doesn't matter. But I like to imagine that I have a little bit of influence potentially with the way people think, right? It's like if I go and read a news article from the Wall Street Journal. Is it financial advice? No. Right? But if I read the Wall Street Journal every single day, it might have an impact on how I view certain things. Now, I'm not equating myself to the Wall Street Journal. I'm just equating myself to some sort of news, right? So if you come to this channel every day and you're like, I kind of respect what Tyler says, that I might have an influence. So I like to always caution going into earnings. I think trading earnings is the riskiest thing you can do unless you have a very firm foundation of understanding of what you're trying to trade and the earnings that are coming out there. CrowdStrike, CRM, Snow, Datadog, ZS, the list goes on. Be careful, but I believe cloud could be explosive. I'm going to tell you that right now. I believe cloud could be very explosive in the coming days and weeks. Now, we all know semiconductors, AI, awesome, cool. But again, when you're looking at the gold rush, the gold mining, all this happening, right? You want to be one of the people selling the shovels, right? You want to be someone that's maybe leasing out workers, right? It's a little headhunter out there, right? And I believe that's what cloud, and I believe that's what these semiconductor manufacturers are, right? They're the people selling the shovels. And I think cloud is overlooked. Now, CrowdStrike, obviously, great run all year. Fantastic. It's killing it, right? CRM is the one that's probably it's the underdog here, right? We started talking about it at the end when you broke out of this flag at 213. You're up about $10. And I think the run could just begin, especially if earnings beat. Now, I'm not going to go over specific options here. You can go check them on Options AI. You can go over different strategies you want. But as of right now, I love CRM. I'm watching them. I think earnings are on Wednesday or Tuesday. I know CrowdStrike and CRM, one of them earnings are on Tuesday, one's on Wednesday. So check them out. You can actually come in here and look, right? So go back, go to CRM. Go to scroll down, earnings right there, and earnings expected move, and then Wednesday after close. So CrowdStrike is Tuesday, and CrowdStrike's expected move is like 6%, give or take. So that's what we're looking at there. So those are big things I'm watching. Now, again, I don't have a trade idea for you guys there. I've been in these trades for a while, so I'm pretty set. But either way, now I said Walmart's probably one of the least risky plays out there, but I believe, if I am looking at a trade and I have time on a contract, I think there's one trade that is the least risky of all for me. And it's this guy right here. It's Amazon. It's Amazon. It's Amazon. I absolutely love these guys right now. I absolutely love what they're doing. You're attacking consumers. You're attacking cloud. AWS is dominating. And their numbers are more than impressive. You're giving up some of the biggest sales numbers that you've seen on Amazon.com in years. You've broke records on Prime Day this year. Holiday season. The list goes on. I like what they're doing. And again, if you can survive a recession and put up better numbers and break records, imagine what happens when the recession eases. And that's what I've been saying for the past year, 2 years. Looking at what's happening here, you want to follow these companies that are beating expectations, that are surviving and not really getting hurt here. I can go down a laundry list of names that are weak, that are getting destroyed. Go on a laundry list, specifically small mid caps, right? Those will have their day. If you're a long-term investor, buy them, forget about them, don't look at them. But these names here, if you're trying to trade options, leaps, whatever you're doing, that's the money-making opportunity. Those are the ones you buy and you don't even have to worry too much about. And that's what I'm saying here. Amazon, I am telling you, if you have any type of upside on Nasdaq this week and next week, 155, 156. I am telling this is going to get grossly illiquid. It's going to start moving quick, and I don't usually flex the profits, but I promise you, when this thing does, we will. I will. Okay, just letting you know right now, absolutely will. But Amazon, love it. Great weekly candle. Sellers try to step in multiple times here, and you got bought up every time. Higher lows being established, higher highs being established. Beautiful, beautiful close in the week. Absolutely love it. I can go down a laundry list of these names that are just absolutely looking great. The last thing I'm going to talk about is one sector, and again, I don't talk about it a lot. It's XLV Healthcare. XLV Healthcare, if you're a day trader this week, you need to be watching it, definitely. So you're breaking back above the 200 SMA. The last time you broke above the 200 SMA was back here when you dipped below, you mounted above, you shot up, okay? Or even here, you dip below, you got a nice push up there. Stocks you're watching, UNH, ascending triangle, you're breaking out of it, absolutely lovely, pushing into all-time highs. I think 555 is an easy target, but you could really start running even better. People like LLY, I'm not a huge fan of this, but again, it does look good. Right? I think you're at all-time highs here as well. Yeah. Crazy, absurd, wild chart. It's almost like a wedge though. So I like UNH a lot more, but keep it on your mind, keep it on your radar. UNH is the dog. It's the one I think is the better day trade. Spreads are a little bit but keep your eye on it. An honorable mention on all these names is LRCX. Again, one of the nice cup and handle plays that are happening here. Inverse head and shoulders from lows, kind of like Nvidia. You break highs here at 730.5. You're going to Narnia, and yeah, it's going to be crazy. You're going to go just straight up. Absolutely love these names. If you have any questions, comment down below. The sale ends tomorrow, just to let you know. And if, again, once those spots are done and they're sold out, do not DM me. Stop DMing me. I don't want to hear your DMs. I appreciate you guys. Awesome supporters. Stop DMing me. You had your opportunity. It's there. It's gone. Gazpacho, cold, hot. I don't care.